Have we had our fill of fake meat? Well, I certainly have. And I mean, not that I've ever tried it, but apparently some people say that it's quite a good imitation of real meat. And apparently, if you give it to someone without telling people that it isn't real meat, then in some cases people get fooled, which just goes to show how clever people can be. But first of all, I'm not a vegetarian, and if I was a vegetarian or vegan, I would not want to eat things that look like or tasted of meat, even if they weren't meat. Um, I mean, the whole point about being a vegetarian is to eat non-meat products. So what is the point of trying to pretend that something that isn't meat tastes like and looks like meat, even if you go along with the animal welfare side of things, which is an important thing to consider. And I accept that the meat industry does involve inevitable cruelty to animals. But on the other hand, humans are omnivores, and those people who eat meat, in my opinion, are healthier than those who don't, generally speaking. I don't believe a vegetarian diet is particularly healthy, although I do know some people who can manage on it. Um, it doesn't mean you have to eat lots of meat or eat meat every day, but I do think meat and fish and so on are a valuable addition to one's diet. But if for any reason I decided not to eat meat, I wouldn't want to eat things that look like meat. I mean, there are things there are textures and tastes in nature that are somewhat meaty in a sense, like mushrooms perhaps, or things like tofu, um, to sort of um, compensate maybe the texture or the flavour or something along those lines. But I personally am going to carry on eating meat. But look, another thing is, it's not just the crappy ingredients in fake burgers, because they do contain a lot of, they're incredibly highly processed, and processed food is not good for you, really isn't. I mean, pea protein, look at the prices. This is £19 a kilo, and this one is a bit cheaper. This isn't beef burgers. What kind of nonsense is that? All right, so it's a beef burger. I don't want to know what it isn't. It's not a banana either. What kind of marketing? This isn't beef burgers. This isn't chicken. This isn't butter. It's something else. Well, tell us what it is. Don't tell us what it isn't. It isn't beef burgers. Well, if I want beef burgers, I'll buy beef burgers. If I don't want beef burgers, I don't want to buy something that looks like they're beef burgers. But this apparently, according to the manufacturer, this is like a great value, because instead of £19 a kilo, this one is like £15 a kilo. And I thought this is very organic. You see, but it's still got a nice plastic wrapper. What these things taste like, I don't know, and I'm not going to find out because I'm not prepared to pay these kind of prices. You can buy a rump steak on promotion for like about £10 a kilo, and you might be able to get a sirloin steak for £20 a kilo, even without a promotion. Sometimes you can get it cheaper. So I'm not going to pay the same prices for a sirloin steak or a rump steak or something like that. Occasionally supermarkets have promotions for like top roast or something for like £7 a kilo. Why would I pay £19 a kilo to eat this artificial crap? Right? It's beyond meat. And there's a picture here I mean, what kind of nonsense is this, where they're actually using the word meat and chicken and beef and so on in advertising for products that don't contain it? What kind of vegetarians are they that want to eat this shit? And just because they've managed to make it look, you can buy, in Japan they've got these pictures in the restaurants, these models of the food, to sort of whet your appetite. And this is what this is. They're trying to sort of make it kind of look, I mean, in my opinion, this doesn't really look like a beef burger to me. They've tried to, there's a little plastic window that you can peek at the food, and you're supposed to think, oh, if I buy this, I'm going to buy something that tastes like beef, but it's going to save the planet or something. I guarantee it, I'm not going to bother now, but if you look at the ingredients of these stupid things, you'll find that it is a lot of junk. It's water, pea protein, I don't know, palm oil, salt, flavourings of various kinds, natural or unnatural, and it just isn't a good. It isn't good, and I don't think it's healthy for you either. If I want pea protein, I'll just eat some bloody peas for God's sake, because I actually like the taste of peas. You know, I don't want my peas to taste of meat. I want my peas to taste of peas. In fact, they're trying to grow a variety of pea with no taste at all, to make it easier to create other products from it. Where does that? I don't. What's wrong with that? What nonsense is that? So I'll be glad if all these silly businesses go out of business. Look at him, this man here. Mr. Shovel said, well, he can shove off. Look at him with his "This Isn't Chicken" version 2. You know? But the thing is, what they do is they give some money to the Vegetarian Society or to the Vegan Society, and then they endorse the product. That's how the whole system works. It's a bit like the kosher racket. Kosher companies say to these manufacturers that, well, we'll get you kosher certification, and then the companies basically have to give them the money, because if they don't, it's anti-Semitism, even if the product isn't particularly popular with Jews. I mean, why do Jews need, kosher soup or something? It's just a racket. It's just a shakedown. That's it. And a lot of companies pay them for their little K badge. I don't know if Jews even give a shit about it, but it's just a nice way of raising money. Andy Shovel is the I wonder if Andy Shovel is Jewish. Let's check. Well, I mean, it may not be the same Andy Shovel. It's a rather unusual name, but somebody called Andy Shovel, who's very concerned about anti-Semitism and is writing for the Jewish Chronicle. So maybe it's him, maybe it isn't. But it's the kind of racket, this kind of artificial bullshit crap is anti-Semitic abuse. They really like anti-Semitism, but they haven't got a problem with anti-Muslims for some reason. And for some reason they always want Muslims to come in, and then they accuse the Muslims that they actually invite in of being anti-Semitic. How does that work? If we're not allowed to, people are accused of racism if they just think it's not sensible to allow everybody from other countries to move in and by the million. Britain is finished, and there's nothing that can be done about it anymore. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying Britain was ever perfect, but the demographics of the past are finished forever. And this was the plan, and it's now far too late. British people themselves, especially the middle class, who are quite influential, they've been virtue signaled, they've been railroaded psychologically into supporting things that are very, very bad for our country. They don't know it. If you live in an affluent part of London or affluent part of the country, you will see that the middle class, affluent middle class, people with good jobs, nice homes, privately educated children, they are overall the absolute worst when it comes to going along with agendas. Whether it's open borders, sympathy for refugees, Ukraine, getting vaccinated to help granny, or climate change and things like that. And the only hope the British have got is like the proles, i.e. the working class, who admittedly are rough and coarse in many ways. Many of them are in fact racist, but with some reason, because they have to live with the people that the rich people invite in. If I was a rich person, I would benefit from immigration, because I can get cut price prostitutes, I can get maid service from the Philippines, I can get, Polish builders to do my extension for cheaper than English builders. So, it's good for me. Rich people benefit from open borders, and the poor people suffer because their areas get taken over. The schools children go to become minority English schools, where English language level decreases because there's a kind of pidgin English in a lot of these schools. You're not allowed to have a genuine debate about it. You will not meet anyone less racist than I am, because I always treat people as individuals. Always. I mean, I'm not just saying that in order to sort of come across nicely in a video. This is actually what I think. I think we should treat people as individuals. Now, I don't know why, I do quite often go off on a tangent here. I think this Andy Shovel is Jewish. I think he is. And I think that the whole meat thing, Andy Shovel, this isn't chicken. Let's have a look at this film a bit closer. Well, you can never tell who's writing the fake reviews and who's got the real reviews. But, you know, some people don't like it. Awful smell that really lingers, flavourless, disgusting. Somebody says it's delicious. Smells and tastes like gone off chicken, all right. Well, best alternative to meat ever. Perfect meat, almost like the real thing. Not nice smelling or tasting. I would say very variable. Either people like it or they don't. But let's have a look at the ingredients. You are paying like £15 this is the cheaper version. You're paying £15 a kilo for water, soya protein concentrate, rapeseed oil, natural flavouring, pea protein, potato salt, sea salt and black pepper. Oh, sea salt and black pepper seasoning. But even the black pepper has maltodextrin and sugar, yeast extract powder, natural flavouring, sea salt, iron, vitamin B12. Well, the only, you know, I mean, is it worth £20 a kilo to get a little bit of sea salt and black pepper? These are the things I know. And natural flavouring in itself doesn't actually tell you how it was produced, what it is. I'd like to know what is natural flavouring and what does natural flavouring mean. Natural flavouring includes a lot of really weird shit that you probably wouldn't want. So don't be fooled by the word natural. Natural can mean a lot of things. Shit is natural, isn't it? Totally natural. But if you had it in your food, you wouldn't like it. But, you know, black pepper's nice. Yeast extract, I like that. You know, Bovril. Oxocube or something. All right, well, I'm saying that I don't think it's worth paying for anything that costs 15 quid a kilo, whose main ingredient is water and soya protein concentrate. Rapeseed oil, natural flavouring. I mean, this is crap, isn't it? This is absolutely crap. Where Andy and Pete are bearded heads. Our last job entails selling tons of meat. It's just that having loads of it isn't ideal. Packaged in a protective atmosphere. Well, I don't know. It's out of stock. Just as well. Okay, well, like I said, I mean, you know, I suppose it, but you know, if you want, but I just think there's better ways to spend your money, even if you're a vegetarian. You know, roast some cauliflower or something. I don't know. What is the point of it? If you stop eating meat, you stop eating meat. Don't try and get something that looks like meat and they try and fake you into thinking it tastes like meat. You know, over-processed food isn't good. I know we eat it and I know we can enjoy it. I mean, I like chocolates and stuff, but I don't know. I think the answer is no.